Welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. I've got these two fives to go to finish off this forest trailhead area. And then it's on to other things with that five. Things are just getting harder from here. Okay, precision 4. All regions must have an area of exactly 4. Mingle shape. Neighboring regions must have different shapes. And the polyominoes. That goes to there and stops. I don't know which side it takes yet. This one is just that. It has to take that because it can't get all the way over to here. It has to take that. It cannot. It can. It could turn that way. It could turn that way. It could go to here and turn that way. I don't know if it takes anything over here. That one needs to be 4. Okay, here. That one needs... It does not. It does not need to reach a polyomino. There is no shape bank. It's precision 4, but I do not need to have a polyomino on every one of them. So, that is not where I'm going yet, but this one, if it goes this way as far as it can, it only gets to here, and it needs to go there. So it might take 2 here, or 1 and 1. For that to be the S shape, it's got to go this way. And then it's got to be that. That is a T. There. Now this one goes up there. This must take that, which tells us it's there. Now this one has to come out here and not be that. It needs either that or that. I don't know yet which. That one takes that. This could be an S, then that could, no, if this is an S and that's an S, that's a problem. Okay, that one, this one, whatever it is, needs one more. This can take 2 of these. So say like that. And then this one would take that. Now for that to be an S, it would take that, leaving that undone, unfilled, or that, leaving both of those, or that, leaving that one, or something. It can't take that and that. So this doesn't take that, it's going to take that side. Now, if this one is like that, how would this go? It could do that. That would allow a second square here. If it were to do that, that would only be 3. This one could do that, then there'd be that, and there'd be 2 here. So that's not the way it's going to go. Unless it does that, and then this is that. Ooh. We do have mingle shape. Okay. Mingle shape says this is not a square next to a square. So, doing that kind of forced, yeah. Doing that forced this to leave space in here, which the only way to fill it made the 2x2. And we have mingle shape, so that doesn't work. Therefore, this is going to take that. This one does that. There's one of these here. That. Now this one can be like that. There's an L there that isn't touching anything. All of that, there's a T next to that L, S. Okay. This one cannot be that without isolating that. So it's going to avoid it. Now this one comes out here. I don't know if it's going to go to there or to here yet. This one is here. Whatever is here is not that. Okay, there are, again here, there's 8 in this area. And any way that you could put those together to be cut off, if that were that, any way you cut this, that, 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 they would be the same shape. Therefore, these shapes, there's one shape in here that does not come out. It doesn't touch this or this. Then there are 2 shapes that come out. Otherwise, there's a second shape that's stuck in there, and we've just figured out that that can't work. So, how would that work? Not like that. That's only one of them. Huh. This one goes like that. And then there's an L there, and this comes out. And it's not an L, it's an I. Yeah. Okay. There. I thought I was just seeing a T next to a T, but this is a hole in the board. And that is also a hole in the board, and that's a hole, and that's a hole. These are all holes. They are allowed to be the same shape as shapes, as regions. We can do this again. We have that. If I do that, 13. 13. So, if I went like that, that would be one short. The other way to do it is that. There is then an L and an I. Yes, that works. There's that, and that. Now this is not an I. It might take that. Can it not take that? If it took that, it couldn't take this, so it would have to take that, and that would break this. It must take that. Now, I don't know if it takes that or that. Could be the T or the S. Whatever is here is coming out there. And whatever is here is coming out there. If this one took that, this one would take that, and I'd be left with an S that thinks it's a T. So that takes that, this takes that, this would not do that because that would be an L touching an L. So it would be the T like that. Yes. Now that one is that. It could hug this right here. If it came up here, again with the pen, If that came up here, I'd have that. And those would be the same shape. No good. So that does that. Now, this is not an L. So it can't be that to allow this out. If it were a T, that would break that. It's not an L that way. It can't be that. It is that. It's a square, 2 by 2. Then this one goes in here. This one is probably going to go that way. Because otherwise that would be an L, and then this would also be an L. So we do that, this, we take that, all of those. Now, this is not a 2 by 2, and it's not an L. I think it's an S. There are 2 ways to go. If it went like that, then this would be that, and this would be another S that would be touching that. So that's not what it does. It does this. Then there's an L there, and this is just an I. That, and that to finish. Now we got one more here. We have Polyomino and Gemini. We don't have Precision, which is just as well because there are 9 in here. 8 in here. 8 in here, that's a good place to start. This one is going to take that. And it's going to take that. This is going to take that. And that. The question now is, which way does it go? Over here we have 10 total. Here we have 10. This one has to come out. This one has to be a different shape. There's that, or that, this, whoops. that, and that. Two of them are going to be singles. This is either going to be an S if it touches that one, if this does that and this does that. Or this does this, this one does that, and there's that, and then this goes like that. So I don't know what's going on there either. This one, it's either going to take that or that. Yeah, this is going to be a straight line, and then an L, and there'll be two singles. Or a straight line, an L, and two singles. How about this one? That could do that, and then there's that. Or it could do that, and then there's that, leaving that one. So that or that is left single. That with that, or that with that. Either way, I know that this does that. It takes that one or that one. This one is going to take that and either that and that, or that and that. How many are in here? There are 20 in there, which is evenly divisible by 4. All the shapes that I have that aren't the singles have been divisible by 4 so far. Which isn't to say that they all are. There's that with this, and then there's that and that. There's this, that, with that and that. Either way, that is taking that. Now this one is either going to take that or that. It's not going to go there or there. One of those will be a single. This is either a T or an I. This is an S or an L. This is an S or a T. this is an S or an O, 2 by 2. This is an I or an L. Yeah, that is 5 times 4, which is the size of this. So it's a matter of how these fit together. This one cannot be an I. There. If this is an I, it can't go that way. So it would go here and block this one from doing whatever it needs to do. Therefore, this is an L. Which means this is an L. There. Okay. Now that's an L. If this L came out to here, that would break this again. This one needs to go through here. It's either going to be that, and then this is an L, then this one would have to take those, and that would make it the I, which would mean this had to be part of that, which would make it the T, which would make that the S. Is there another way to do that? If this were the S, this would be broken. Okay. There we go with that. That means that this happens and that happens. Then this L has to do that. I means I. Now this one's the T. And that's the S. Which means that, 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 and that one. That is the end of Forest Trailhead. I have done all 34 plus the 3 bonuses. I now need to come back. I now need to come back over this way, hop across these floating rocks, and do that one in order to unlock the next area. That'll happen in the next episode. See you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.